The presenting sponsor of Upmarket is Aereo, the best place to grow and manage your real estate media business online at aereo.com. That's ARYEO.com. Coming to you from the Upmarket studio at Gasworks in beautiful San Buenaventura, California, this is Upmarket, a podcast about the business of real estate photography and media. My name is Reed Fish. I'm the CEO and a co-founder of Upmarket Media. Mark Corcoran, another co-founder. Mark, second show at the Gasworks studio.
Back in the seat, back in the studio.
Yeah, it's a little more set up than last time, but not that much more set up. I mean, Chelsea Froelich here producing. Hey. I think the biggest thing, if you're watching on the YouTube channels, we have our big, our canvas print of our logo behind us. We decided to not go neon. Yeah. Because that, that felt like if you're, many podcasts have the neon. We decided to go with the canvas.
It's a little overdone, so yeah.
Yeah. And plus, we'll have like 10 different shows, and so I can't be getting neon for every show.
Mm-mm. Yeah, this is an easy switch out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and so on this one, on this episode, we wanted to talk a bit about, because we have it on our minds, is what we're working on, is we're really developing this branding side to our business, and it kind of comes in with the fact that we have the studio now, and now we need to pay for it, right? That's what we said. We can kind of pay for it with podcasting money, but we really need to start generating some other income. And then it goes along with Chelsea, who got your big promotion a few months ago that we talked about on here. Yes. So you're what do we call you? The director of branding photography, or
social media marketing director, branding. Head of branding photography.
That's a long title.
Yeah. Well, and so we felt and the thing is, in our discussions, like, you did not really want to be creating all the content. You didn't want to be doing the photos. You didn't, I'm sure you can do some of the video, but that's not exactly what you want to be doing. And so we knew we needed to expand the team, right? And so we did that. And guess what? That team member is here with us right now. Mm-hmm. And it's Elena Anzaldo. Elena, welcome to the show, and welcome to the Upmarket crew. And how's it been going so far?
Well, thank you guys. Yes, I'm excited to be with you in particular because all of you guys are so awesome.
Oh, well, this podcast is going great so far.
And I've known you all for quite a while. We can get into that.
Yeah, well, I think we can do just a tiny bit of backstory, because it's not. It is relevant, but not super relevant, is that Elena is actually the wife of a former guest of this show. So I think it was maybe a little over a year ago, Ignacio Anzaldo was on and had a freewheeling talk about what realtors are really like. And I think he had a few beers.
There were a few drinks involved in that one.
That was a good episode. So go back and check that one out. But Elena is also a realtor. And that's how I first met you, is just out shooting for you. And I think it was before you and Ignacio even were married and stuff. Uh-huh. Yeah. And so then you met and fell in love.
That's right.
Yeah. And then but you were a realtor. And so that's how I knew you. And then we were at a shoot, a few months ago. And I could just tell you were like picking my brain about like doing branding photography. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. Yeah. Because I didn't know you as a photographer, and it seems like you kind of weren't a photographer even, but that you had this keen interest in it. And then you were a realtor, and I was like, oh, this could go really well together.
Yeah. Well, especially because I know how it is in the real estate industry. And I did have an interest in photography my whole life, but I took a little bit of a break, to go fully into real estate. So it's cool to pick it back up and to really focus on something creative and fun.
Yeah. And you don't really have a desire to do like our bread and butter kind of real estate photography, shooting houses.
No.
You're all about shooting people and interacting with them on camera. So for us, it's like a win-win, right? It's like a perfect combo.
And you kind of wanted to step away from real estate a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. One realtor in the family is enough.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, more than enough. And so we ended up, so that definitely, like, I don't know, were you trying to get a job with us at that point?
No, I wasn't trying. Yes, of course. I would love to work with you guys. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, was that your process in that conversation? Were you like,
no,
laying the seeds?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
no.
I remember right after that, you were like, we had a conversation too, like after you left, I think, and it was like, wait a second, this is like,
no, I think we just kind of
come together,
like collided and like we fell into each other's laps at that point.
Yeah, and then we talked to Chelsea about it, and she was like, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were kind of...
I couldn't be doing that myself with everything else because I wouldn't be giving quality content. Like my attention would be too fanned out, and I just wouldn't be able to
until we have someone to fill that admin role when you're doing this other stuff. Then,
yeah, exactly.
But to juggle both is impossible.
No.
Yeah.
Not to do a good job at it. We want to deliver.
You don't want to half-ass both of them, right? You want to do it properly.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like you were this missing piece that we were trying to figure out how this was going to work. And you just kind of appeared and raised your hand and we're like, well, let's try to figure this out.
Yeah. What's really been happening is we've spent the last, I don't know, that was maybe 5 months ago, is that we've spent that time kind of just really mostly talking and planning and figuring out how to do it. And to be frank, also, Elena, you were pretty green with photography in terms of doing it professionally. And so you've been on a learning curve on, you've been on a journey of learning over the last few months.
Definitely. I mean, I've done photo shoots for friends and other, kind of outdoor headshots, but just, getting to know the editing. And I feel like I've really delved very deep into it. And so it's a lot easier than even 3 months ago.
You want to build that confidence too, right? So you can walk into a shoot in the studio or wherever and be like, you know what to do. You just kind of got it dialed in.
Yeah. But I think a lot of the conversation has revolved around like what kind of shoots do we want to provide for people, and what is that experience going to be like for us and for the client, right? Can you Chelsea, can you and Lena kind of fill us in on what we've been thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to just kind of figure out the structure that works for us, for the whole team and for our client, right? So we did a test shoot where we had Katie come in and
right.
And
the co-host of Real VC, our other podcast, and myself, we came in.
We came in and we did a little test shoot. Just wanted to feel it out in the new space, feel it out with Elena, and see how everything was going to go. We learned some things that we need to bring into the studio, like we don't have a mirror, we don't have a clothing rack, things that we need to get to just make everything work a little smoother. So those are all the kinks that we need to figure out, because the bottom line is we want it to be efficient for pricing and time.
Yeah. And it's also figuring out what that's going to look like if we have a series of packages or a set price or a base rate that we build on, how that's going to kind of work.
Well, yeah. And what are the add-ons too? Because we're also talking about, well, do we have a makeup artist?
Exactly.
And where did we land on that?
I don't think we should.
Oh, okay.
I think that's just a little too much extra on our end. I think it would become a headache, and I just
maybe if we were working with a bigger team and it was a full day shoot, down the road, it's something we could build towards. But for one person for an hour shoot,
we have the ball rolling, and this is all happening very quickly. Maybe, but right now, I think it's just not a good idea.
Yeah.
I think if we ask people to come photo ready, bring their looks, and then we can help, we can help fix their hair.
Yeah, we can tweak it, right?
Between shots, that's doable. But full-time makeup artist, I don't think is in the cards for us right now.
Right. Yeah. What are the other things that we've been, I mean, have we landed on kind of how we're structuring it in terms of packages and what are we offering? Are we offering photos just here at the new studio? And again, to fill in, if people didn't listen to the last episode, the new studio space, we will have a setup that is whatever. We'll have a green screen and we'll have just a backdrop. And we also have a old brick wall that, painted white, that we can also use. But then around in this complex, and what we did with Katie and I, right, Elena, was we went around because there's a lot of different places in the Gasworks that we can actually photograph.
Yeah, it's a really nice outdoor space. So I think just having the options.
We learned a lot about time of day,
Yeah.
It wasn't ideal because she was a little late and then it made the shoot late. So our morning shoot turned into an afternoon shoot, which was not ideal.
Yeah, well, and every single day for 2 months it had been socked in Ventura, and it was the one sunny day, and so we got screwed by the sun.
Bright and sunny day we had. So
then you're dealing with that harsh light that just never looks good.
So you know, it's all a learning curve. We just have to figure out what's going to work for the client and just go with it.
Yeah. And I like looking at our industry, people, like we don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel on this because there's people that have already figured this out and have their own packages, like people like Cheyenne and Kelsey Curtis that are obviously very good at this that we can kind of learn from.
Right. We can model after what they're doing. Definitely.
But we are going to utilize, the idea is that, you know, we have the option of the studio, right? But then are you comfortable going out in the field?
Yeah. So I think that would be actually very fun. You know, if a realtor has a listing that they really like, that suits their brand and we can borrow it, you know, use it for a few hours. I think that would be super fun. Yeah. Because they kind of come out of their shell. I feel like people get a little bit nervous in studios. So yeah, for the official headshot, that would be great. Using the building outside also could be cool, but actually going into properties and
that's their environment, right? That kind of makes sense for their lifestyle kind of shoot.
Exactly.
Where they're comfortable in. So
if we can have a mix of that and then maybe like just downtown, say they're in Ventura, if we can do some downtown Ventura, get them just in their element and really show their brand of where they're located, that's good too. It's going to depend on the client.
Yeah, some of the agents, well, this is where I get my coffee. This is where I walk my dog. This is where it can turn into a whole thing. Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the good things about Elena in particular being with us is like as a realtor, you can talk their language and you know what they're thinking, you know what they need, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what realtors are doing it well and what to stay away from. So you kind of know, like, you know, what they need before they even maybe need it themselves.
For sure. Right now, I see a lot of lifestyle happening, you know, on Instagram and social media, you know, realtors posting where they get their coffee, what they do for fun. So that could be super fun for them, is capturing them at those places.
Right.
Yeah, because they're looking to separate themselves from a herd of thousands of realtors, right? It's like, what are they into? What's going to attract their kind of sphere?
And people love that. If you see, like, it gets a lot more traction on social media.
Right.
Unless they have like a really interesting listing, it could get a little stale.
Well, and that's what I do worry about that a little, even here at Gasworks, is that if you have the studio or you just have the one, we have, you know, a few, probably 8 different setups, but it's all kind of recognizably a similar place. Is that going to start to be like, well, everyone has one of those headshots, but I think it could still work because it can present as generic enough that, you know, it's not
exactly.
Gonna, you know, because people do need like the generic headshot as well. I do believe, you know.
Yeah, but I must say the location of the studio is really good because it's super close to everything else. So, you know, you can just drive up to tons of places and it's only 5 minutes away or walk.
Yeah, there's a nice coffee shop right up the road. The beach is 5 minutes away.
I mean, this is like, it's happening in this area.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think, you know, the thing, maybe the bigger thing is that as we go down there and, you know, and again, to try to be, you know, actionable for our listeners is like, as we're building this, I mean, what are the steps? I mean, so we have the photographer, we have our packages, but then how are we going to market this? And I think right now we're in a mode of, we just need to create some content that then we can, proof of concept, right?
Yeah.
That
you need to show people what we're going to present and provide, right?
Yeah. I think our next step is getting something on the website, just something to show, and then teasing it out a bit, sending out an email, announcing it, showing it, some of it on social media across the board, and then just, you know, sparking some interest with it, and then getting as many shoots as we can under our belt to just keep putting that content out.
Right.
Yeah. So pricing it in a way that's attractive to bring enough people in to where we can kind of build it and eventually build the price over time.
Even if we have to keep doing like a few test shoots here and there just to get it going.
Sure.
Keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we've all talked about, hey, we're okay doing a few free shoots just to get this going.
Yeah, because we're known as Upmarket Media, the real estate company, right? We're not like the full service like branding. So it's like it's going to take a while to make that shift, I think, in people's minds that we can provide that and we can be that kind of one-stop shop.
Even though I think we get asked, relatively often, even as is, but, and we're recording this with mid-July, right? And so I think we're not going to want to launch this before fall, right? And so I think we have the rest of the summer to kind of hammer this out and really be dialed in and really be ready to launch this. And I think we've talked about, having a big opening celebration for this space. And I think that's going to be one of our big marketing pushes probably for the fall, is to be able to have like a swanky, nice party here where we have, we already got a DJ and we already have, we have ideas for like Mark was talking about doing a gift giveaway.
Yeah, creating gifts for people with a green screen that they can then search for themselves on Instagram and put themselves in there pointing at something or holding, just listed sign, like just a fun little giveaway. I think people will get into that.
And then I think we'll have like actually good food and have the local wine shop come in and be pouring wine and And then people can see this setup and what we've put into it. They can see our photo set up with the backdrops and be like, oh, this is a full on like media studio. Yeah, exactly. And I think that'll be the best way that we're going to be able to launch this product is like, we're dialed in by the time we have this opening party. So I think the next 2 months are really going to be spent kind of planning that launch.
Yeah, and that's very exciting.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I can just, as I sit here in the studio and we look out and there's it's industrial enough that we actually have a garage door as one of the doors to our space. And it's clear.
One of my favorite things.
Yeah. So you can see out and I'm just like, I can envision 75 of our clients just standing around out there, milling around, drinking some wine and booking branding shoots.
Totally. Yeah. And I like that the timing of this feels good. Like we're hammering it out now because then as the real estate slows down, we've always talked about having something to kind of fill that void. And then realtors are slowing down. They have less money to spend, but they're always looking at that time of year. Like, how do I need to reinvest into my business? This is the time to get the shoots, to get the branding. So then we'll be ready to
That's right.
Yeah, they can start the year out fresh with fresh branding.
Yeah, because then our marketing will hit better when they have the headspace and the actual time to commit to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a lot of talk for people that they need to do it. But now we have the infrastructure to do it. And so I think when we've talked about all these things in the past with people about doing, we have talked about doing like video branding packages and stuff like that. We've talked about it on this podcast a million times about how it's been hard to sell those type of videos. And maybe part of it is because you and I didn't feel like we had the infrastructure to do it.
Right.
And now if we do, and video is a whole other ballgame. And I know we're kind of probably doing a little bit of social media video, looping it in with these products, but not these big about you agent videos. We're not really getting into that market right yet. And we don't have anyone who wants to shoot those. But I think that's starting on that journey of being able to be more full service into branding. And then we can get in the headspace of like, oh yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we can actually do it. We have someone that wants to do it, has the desire to do it. And now we have the infrastructure and the spaces to just like say yes to everything instead of, call this guy or we could maybe figure that out. And then, how many conversations that we had that never really go anywhere.
Yeah, I think it's because all these realtors use you consistently, it'll be easier for them to know that they trust the infrastructure. Right. They know that it's going to be a good product.
And do you feel like, actually, I don't think we've talked about this, but I mean, you were a realtor, but you weren't like a high volume realtor. But do you feel like a lot of the realtors?
Oh yeah, of course. Well, because Ignacio, my husband, is very busy and very well known around town. Yes, I definitely feel like I know a lot of the realtors.
Right.
Yeah.
They might not know.
I mean, caravans and all that stuff.
Yes, of course.
Everyone.
Yeah. Well, and social media, of course.
Yeah. Right. Well, and then, but then the other question is, so we have all these built-in potential clients, but then do we want to really expand this to other businesses, do we want to be able, is that the goal? I mean, I'm actually honestly asking that question. And I guess as the CEO, I should have set the goals, but.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, to me, we have this client base of hundreds of people that know and trust us, right? So that's the first stop. But then, obviously from there, if it's successful, then
dream big.
Every business owner, every person needs professional headshots and That's what's kind of exciting to me is that we can expand outside of our industry.
Right. That's what Jeff's always been on our ass about.
Now that we're centrally located and it's just like all of these pieces kind of are finally like coming together.
Elena, you're the key that has unlocked everything.
Well, I am honored.
But we will have to figure out how to market that. I mean, and I'm probably getting ahead of myself a little bit. And I think, obviously there's enough opportunity with our current clients to last us for the next year or two without getting into having to go to a company with 40 different employees and all that kind of stuff. Because that's a whole other animal.
It's possible, but I think right now, yes. However, realtors do need updated branding, updated headshots, like every year or two. So they'll come back. Yes, in Ventura and Ojai, Ventura County, I think there are enough small businesses that they would be pretty simple to do branding for them. 40 people, then I might need a little assistant. Chelsea.
Yeah. Well, and as the shoots go, I mean, we have like Chelsea, I guess you're producing, right? And so for our shoot, you were here too. I mean, is that kind of how we see these going down? Is it that both of you will be at the shoots, or are we just going to have Elena do it once she has her sea legs a little bit more?
I would probably leave that up to her because I want her to feel confident and comfortable at the shoots. I don't want you to feel like I'm looking over your shoulder constantly. And because I'm doing all the other admin stuff and, running the stuff in the office, I don't know if I can always be there. So
depending on the volume and how busy it gets, right? If it's multiple times a week or per day, then it's a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe at first, just till we really get it down, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think that I would need you, there constantly. I think, to start out, with the hair, with the reflectors, if we need them, if there's outdoor lighting situations, or just keeping an eye out, or being like the hype man to hype these people up. I think that's an important part.
And I think as we go, if it does seem like you need an assistant, well, then we just get an assistant who can go to the shoots, right?
Someone who's moving lights for you or whatever you need to do behind the scenes.
And that's the thing is too, we could have our, one of our junior employees come and help, because I think I think people on our staff, there's people, I don't want to do that at all, but then there's maybe someone on staff who's like, oh yeah, I could assist, because they just want hours.
And it's hours and it's kind of fun.
And I think if you're just assisting and you're just like holding the reflector, it's different than having to be in the creative headspace of actually like, okay, you got to smile, you got to do this. And where are we going to set them up? That's the part that stresses me out. Like I can hold a reflector.
You're really, really good at that.
Do you want to hold a reflector?
No, God, no.
I mean, I think an interesting part of that is like, you're obviously scheduling it, setting it up. And then for you to be here, like a lot of our clients have never met you. And I think it's kind of fun and interesting for you to spend a little time one-on-one with the clients too.
Oh, definitely.
For me, that's like all I do. And I think you communicate with them, but you're still kind of behind the curtain a bit. And I think it's good for you to meet them and for them to know who you are. And I think that's kind of...
I think it might be nice for me to show up to some and, be
depending
there.
Who the client is, maybe.
If I need to be on it the whole time.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Well, all right. That's great. So I think, Elena, you have some time. You'll stick around.
Yes, of course.
We'll talk about branding in the first half, and maybe we'll talk about some other stuff in the second half, maybe some more branding. But it could be good to have a realtor opinion on some
Always
of the things
good,
as well, And then we, of course, will update this journey as we go on this podcast. We are a real estate photography podcast, but I think this is well worth talking about because I know so many companies are doing this, and it is a potential way to enhance all of our businesses. So let's take a little break. We'll do social media sidebar, and then we'll come back with everyone. And then we didn't even prep you for action items. So Elena, during the break, you're going to have to come up with an action item.
All right. I'll be ready.
Okay.
Thanks.
Aereo, Chelsea, you've been in the Aereo streets a bit. What news going on with Aereo? Yeah, the Aereo streets. Yeah,
What's going on with
boulevards of Aereo.
Well, they did a bunch of updates, and at first I hated them, but now I actually appreciate them.
Oh,
change is hard, but then you're like, wow, this makes sense.
I reached out to them too and complained, and then And then I backtracked because I realized they actually did make it easier. So they're always thinking of us. And
that's right. Well, and they think about things that we don't even know we need.
Exactly.
And that actually piss us off when they're first implemented.
Yeah.
But then, well, and so Aereo, we're not actually talking shit about you. We love you. But sometimes change is hard.
Yeah. We thought we were mad, but we're actually happy.
Even for Chelsea. So look, I think if you want to make a change, because you are not growing your business, you are having a bad experience with the client-facing parts of your business in terms of delivering photos, in terms of scheduling, in terms of all these things. If that's you, I actually encourage you to make a change, and I would check out Aereo. That's Aereo.com. ARYEO.com. Use the code Upmarket, and you can get 15 free bonus listings. Elena, on a scale of 1 to 1,000, how much do you love floor plans?
I love floor plans, actually.
Well,
coming from the real estate, 1 to 1,000, 895.
The only appropriate answer was 1,000,000, because that's how I feel.
Off the scale.
Yeah, I broke the scale on my love for floor plans. But as a realtor, what do you love about floor plans?
So as a realtor, I've come across a lot of times buyers come into your open house or during a showing, and they're really liking the property, and they want to know if they can fit their grand piano into the living room or wherever, and they want to know, because especially if the property is not staged, it's really difficult to tell how furniture will fit in there. Right. So having the floor plan with the simple measurements, I feel like it's...
And you don't know this,
but
I'm about to tell you right now. Yeah, talk about a game changer. It's one of the best ways that real estate media providers can provide hungry realtors like you with floor plans and that your clients love is to use Second Floor app. Second Floor app is one of the easiest, most straightforward, and I dare say it is the quickest way to make a floor plan that you can deliver right to your client. It's super simple. It's just an app on your iPhone. You walk around, it takes you 5 minutes, you scan the property, and then boom, you have a floor plan with GLA, with measurements, with all the stuff that every realtor like wonderful Elena needs right there in the palm of your hand, and you can deliver it right to them. So check out secondfloorapp.com/upmarket, and you can get a free month of service. And Second Floor app, it's all spelled out, SECOND, floorapp.com. Social media sidebar, come on, Upmarket Pod across all social media. And while you're at it, it's not social media, but get on your app of choice. You're already listening to it, so make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've rated it 5 stars, just like Elena has certainly rated this podcast 5 stars in her podcast listening app of choice. And also, leave a review. We love 5-star wonderful reviews. And so you can find, and then we have Upmarket.media across social media. And check then Chelsea is feeding beautiful. And Elena, where can we find you on social media? On Instagram, preferably.
On Instagram, it's elena.anzaldo, ELENA.ANZALDO.
Oh, yeah. And so you're putting a lot of the branding work you've been doing on there, in addition to like kid stuff and stuff like that.
Yes. So all the photo shoots that I've done, I don't want to overpower and do too many posts, but there are a good amount of posts on there. And then soon I will have a website that you can also check out, and there'll be more content.
Nice. All right. Tell me about TikTok. Are you a TikToker or not?
I am not. I tried TikTok, and then I went back to Instagram.
Yeah. I was just curious if in the local real estate community, if that's a big app people are using, or
in real estate, yes. But now that Instagram has reels and reel templates, I feel like that's made it really simple. TikTok, when I was trying to do real estate on TikTok, it was not easy for me, but then the reels made it super easy. So I think it's gone back to Instagram. Yeah,
that's how we kind of felt too. Like we dabbled in TikTok and we still have it, but it's like, it's just like...
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
There's too much going on.
I agree.
Well, yeah, and I think part of the marketing strategy for us is we got to feature the branding on our Instagram as well, and so it'll be interesting to figure out what the ratio should be on that. I mean, I don't know. I guess we can just be posting a lot.
I think so. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it should be probally heavier on the branding initially just to get the word out, right?
Just to get it out.
Because not everyone sees every post, so it's just like keep putting it out there.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, and Chelsea, it's been a while since you've been on a social media sidebar. Is there anything as a social media manager that has been any changes in social media? Anything that you were just on a call the other day about social media?
Yeah, I did a Zoom webinar with, not webinar, it was just a Zoom meeting with Kelsey.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great. You know, a lot of it is stuff we already know. Be authentic, behind the scenes, as I always say.
The 2-swipe test, did you mention that?
But it refreshed, it just refreshed me a bit on things that I can be creating with content we already have, which was nice. Just a reminder. It's always good to just do a little refresh and, get back in that creative zone.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, that is a good idea. I got to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Got all this content sitting here. Let's repurpose it.
You can see all my notes. I took 2 pages of notes.
Okay.
So.
All right.
I'll be looking for the posts.
Them.
Yeah. Well, we should go over those notes for the next social media sidebar.
We can do that.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
We can do
right.
it now.
Well,
I mean, that's basically it. It was just, talking about repurposing content, making reels from old videos and recutting them, just getting yourself out there and just showing everyone who you are, sticking to that.
All right. That's a deep, dark place. Showing me who I really am. I don't know if that's appropriate for the podcast Instagram. Well, to be determined. If it starts getting dark in there, just DM me and I'll come in. Yeah, that's right. Well, you have access to it. I keep forgetting that. Okay. Well, we are going to be right back with a bunch more, and then we're going to end this thing with some action items. We are back, and you know what? Even more importantly, Chelsea is back. Chelsea was just on vacation. She was in Hawaii. If you do follow Feeding Beautiful, you know damn well she was in Hawaii. And
swimming with the sharks.
Yeah, and then while you're gone, of course, and you were gone over the 4th of July holiday, which was kind of nice because it was pretty quiet, but pretty much, because Mark's out there shooting, so I feel like I really got to be the main admin when you're not there because I got to do something in this company.
Someone's got to pick up the phone.
Yeah. And so we had, I had one major snafu where I put a date 3 weeks. It was like the client had requested it 2 weeks from then, and then I put it for the next day. And so poor Marco goes to the shoot and he's like, "There's painters here."
Yeah.
The
homeowner asked me who I am. I said I'm the photographer. Okay. And he was going to start shooting.
Yeah. And so that was my big error. But then I had another error where it was, I don't think this is actually an error, but it ended up being an error where a certain client requested 2 shoots, and I put I'll say who it was because it was literally not their fault at all, but we put Nikki on these, and then Nikki did the shoots and she did a marvelous job.
She did.
A fantastic
job. And they were both
job.
vacant. And the one was interesting. One was just totally empty. I was like, oh, perfect. Nikki can handle it. No problem.
They were nothing special. They were
and we looked at the photos, approved the photos, sent out the photos. And then we got a text, right?
Over the weekend. I needed Mark for these shoots. Yeah. Why did you send Nikki? And she was out of town.
Mark's eye.
She needed Mark's eye, and the assistants, didn't know. Yeah,
it was like I'm away on my birthday weekend, and I'm very disappointed. Yeah, and I was like,
and she had seen the photos, and also it was like it got to be Saturday afternoon, and they're like, "Where are the photos? Where are the photos?" Well, this one has been, and I've raised us think about it before, has been grandfathered in and to get. They always seem to shoot on Friday and they want their photos Saturday, and we've never charged them.
Always works out, yeah.
And so, of course, anyway, so she flips out, and then I'm like, honestly, Let's just fire this client. I am so over her. And then
it was like the end was like, call me to discuss. And
yes,
this was like
exactly.
7:00 on a Saturday night. And I'm just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And I'm not going to call because I actually had a run in with this client
No.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so Mark called, and then it was like, oh, there was too much ceiling in the photos.
Yeah. So our first line of defense was like, can we tweak what we have, right?
Yeah.
Crop, adjust, brighten, whatever we needed to do. But no. Had to be my aesthetic, my this, because I'm part of her team, and it's just like me or nothing, basically. So
yeah. This woman is so entitled, and but she only does like condo shoots, and she's decently decent
pretty
volume,
good volume, yeah.
But never does Matterport, never does video, never does any of these things.
Sometimes does video, yeah.
But anyway, I was like, screw it, no, we're not going back, we're charging whatever, and Mark said, no, I'll do it. He's so much nicer than I am.
So yeah, I had to call her on a Sunday morning, right? You and I are going back. What are we going to do? I'm like, I guess I'll call her, and there was no other way to resolve it other than me reshooting it. And I just happened to have a window on Monday morning. So there I was Monday morning.
And the photos look so different.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just your eye is just so much. I mean,
there's only so many ways to shoot a condo, right? It's like there's so many corners and so many angles. And yeah, so I reshot it, and to me it looked the same. And she was just over the moon. Oh, thank you so much. And
yeah. Well, and I'm still, and this is a client too that is, I guess, good enough that we haven't instituted the yield. If you want Mark, it's $100 extra, which I think we should do, but Mark's reluctant to. But I guess the bigger question is how are we dealing with difficult clients? And Elena, because you're a realtor and you can all be difficult at certain moments. I mean, how I guess, do you have advice on how we should be dealing with difficult agents, and especially ones like entitled persnickety ones?
Yes. I think the way that you guys went about it with Mark calling Sunday morning, reshooting, that's the way you have to go about it, because realtors are exhausted. They deal with crazy people, crazy clients all the time, and they also make a lot of money, so that yes, they can be entitled, but I think that they don't understand what photographers, what the job is, what they do. So maybe just having a little bit more communication, and
that's exactly what I want to do with this realtor, is talk to her more
and just going up and like face to face, because realtors deal with difficult conversations every day, multiple difficult conversations regarding millions of dollars sometimes. So they're not afraid of confrontation.
Right. Well, that's
then
something.
Again,
that's a good
and
tip
they
right there. Is realtors are not afraid of confrontation,
and they want someone to come to come up to their level. Like if they have a problem, they want someone else to meet them on that level. Like, okay, I see what we did wrong. Let's work something out.
Yeah. And she was very appreciative that I was there. She was apologetic. Sorry to make you do this. I need you. And it's like, we're like a vendor on her team, right? With multiple vendors, all these people, like you said, all the stuff they deal with. She just wants to know that I'm going to be there, do the photo shoot, and that it's taken care of, and that it's not an issue. And it just,
definitely. I mean, people have people are very particular, and that's what every realtor has, their specific, people they trust. They trust specific plumbers, electricians, even like home inspectors. And I think that being as specific as one person on the Upmarket photo team, you're just going to have to know.
Well, but at a certain point, though, I feel like you can push back at a certain point, because you just say, well, Mark's not available. And that's what we've done with me, and no one asked for me anymore. Mark's not available. And if they balk at that, right, you say, well, we have Nikki or Marco or Jade. They were all trained by Mark. They all share his aesthetic, and we have a consistent quality of work that is the same no matter who shot it. And
same camera, same editor, same everything else.
And the thing is, we could even say to a client, I feel like I can send you 10 shoots, 5 are shot by Mark and 5 are shot by our staff. And if you can name all 10 correctly, then we'll give you Mark for free.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's a good one.
That'll go over really well.
But I think at a certain point you can push back, because if she is so set on Mark Well, she has two options. She could pay more for Mark or wait till Mark's available, whatever it may be, or have there's two other options: to have one of our staff who's trained by Mark shoot it, but they're also not Mark, or call a different photographer who is also not Mark to have them shoot it. So it's like, I don't feel like I think two of the options, it keeps the business with us, you know, because if it has to be Mark, well then, you know, going to the, you know, our competitor is not Mark as well.
I definitely think mentioning that all the staff have been trained by Mark and, you know, he's taken them under their wing. You do that a lot? Okay.
Yeah. And what we love now is like, now that we are this kind of united team of photographers, when we have a new client come in, that's what they know. The trouble is all of these like legacy clients that are built into just using me for 10 years.
Yeah.
They can't move from that. They're just kind of
You
stuck
still
on
have people
it.
texting you directly.
Oh yeah. 3 or 4 years in, they're just like,
Yes.
Here's Chelsea. Here, this.
Text me and Mark on the same
Oh,
thread.
I love that. Yeah. The combo text. So I get ping, ping,
That's a
ping,
very
ping.
realtor thing. Yes.
Text separately.
Like, we hear
just to
you,
get
we see
Mark
you.
out of
Yeah.
there.
It's almost like literally you almost have to change your number.
Yeah.
He's not ready for that. I see that side.
Yeah.
So it's an option.
No, is it Mark? He is the nicest person.
I know.
I know. And I'm so mad at you for that.
Yeah, but I think what you're trying to say is like, I feel like we're in the customer service business.
Yeah.
We're trying to please our clients. We're trying to meet all their different needs of hundreds of different people. But there has to be a limit at some point where we're just not saying yes to every single demand, every single request, everything, every single Saturday night phone call. It's just like,
right. Well, and I guarantee you I'd feel differently if she did a full media package on every shoot. But because she just does the basics, it's just like, well, it's not, you know, we're trying to get it to a point where it's not worth Mark's time to go and shoot just a basic house,
to go shoot a
for
condo.
Basic photos. I mean, that's just, and we, you know, and I know for me, like one of my goals is to have Mark shoot less and less and less and less. And because he's more valuable in networking, more valuable in the two of us sitting here at the studio and thinking of ways to grow the business.
Yeah, more valuable than reshooting a vacant condo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Much
you have
more.
to go back to remembering why you hired me in the beginning, those boundaries and, you know, freeing up your time for the more valuable stuff. So
yeah, but it's easy. It's so easy so easy to backslide on that stuff though. It really is. But I think I'm to a point now where for the first time, I'm not scared about losing a client. Like, I think we can weather losing any client. Now, if we lost our one big brokerage client, that would suck.
Ouch.
And
let's not do that.
Elena knows that brokerage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's some special agents in there too that give us a hard time.
Yes.
But we just keep.
I know.
But outside of that, but even that would be hard because I think there's a lot of loyalty to us with a lot of the agents in there. And so, and it's been a great relationship and I don't think anyone wants to change it. But even if we lost them, we'd survive. I mean, they're a certain percentage of our business, but it's, you know, 10% or something or 15%. And
if you look at these individual clients and any one of them, it's just like kind of on the fringes where it's like, we'd obviously be fine. But it's like, to me, it's always like, oh, you want to make everyone happy and keep getting 5-star reviews and have this perfect reputation and not have anyone say anything bad about you. And but you can't do that when you have 400 clients and there's only one of you.
And as we grow and as we have employees and, you know, they can mess up. And I think one of the reasons this particular client still needs you is because we had a former employee mess up on one of the shoots.
Right.
And
the very first time I never shot for, I wasn't available.
Yeah.
That was just like terrible. So I feel like we're still trying to recover from that and it'll just never.
Yeah. And that was like 3 years ago. So
Yeah.
And, so we just can't control it all. And not everyone is going to have a good experience with us, you know, because we had the guy who left negative feedback for us because he paid for aerial photos and wondered why he didn't get an aerial video.
Yeah.
Like,
where's my video? Aerial photography.
Yeah. And
that was our fault for not explaining it
properly.
properly.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm sure it was. It was our fault. But that is the nice thing, is because we have our CRM that it does prompt people to leave feedback. So whenever there is some negative feedback, which we have gotten a couple over the last 6 months, we're able to get on that immediately and quote unquote make it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or ignore it immediately in some cases. Like, oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. That's
Good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But a happier subject, I think, difficult clients. But then we just came off of, and I do want to talk about it a little bit here, because it is important to remember, important for any of our listeners who have staff. You should be doing something like this. But we had our kind of twice a year staff appreciation gathering party and here at the new space, actually, last week. And and Elena was here as a part of that, as the first. And you're not really, and just to clarify for everyone, you're actually not an employee, that you are really just freelancing with us right now. We'll see how that goes at a certain point. But yeah, I mean, and it was fun. I think people had a good time.
And we had it on the calendar for a bit, and we're like, oh, let's get the space. And we needed to have it here, and I'm glad we waited, because it was great.
It was
our space, like at night, at twilight, when the lights come on, it's just like a super cool space to be in. So
yeah.
And some of our crew hadn't seen it yet, so everyone came in and was just like really enjoying it. And
yeah, it was a nice way to show it off to the team.
Yeah, they bought their
Felt
plus one, some bought their parents. It was just like this kind of community, like it felt like a little Upmarket family, and it's always good to see the partners and spouses and everyone come out.
Yeah, and I noticed we just plowed through a lot of beverages.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the food was really good too.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, but Elena, and then you were here in that capacity as you were taking headshots of everyone. We were updating, and this is I guess now this is the fourth one we've done. I think every time we've had a party in the spring, we've updated it. We've done headshots for the staff and a group photo, and and updated headshots for anyone who wanted one. And we went ahead and updated everyone's headshot on this one.
Yeah, we had fun. We did a nice group photo, and we did some headshots. Yeah, so excited to turn those over to you guys.
Well, yeah, and the nice thing is that I really like my old headshot, and of course, anyway, I was younger back then, but it's going to be nice to have them all in the same place with the same lighting and everything. It's really going to look like we're all part of a team.
Yeah. And the time of day felt good, right? Mm-hmm. It was closer to sunset. The light was softer. There were more areas to work with out there. So I think that was good.
Yeah. I just saw Chelsea's. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Chelsea's beautiful.
Thank you. There's a nice little wind in my hair. It was
perfect. Yeah.
It's a little good.
It's like someone had the fan going for you.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the first things that we do need to do with Elena, and we were waiting. We got to get her on the website. So you'll have your headshot from that, and then now you'll be a part of the group photo. Which, also now there's a lot of people in the photo.
Yeah, it's a decent number. Yeah. We're trying to figure out how to place everyone, and
keeps growing.
Yeah. We brought your husband in as a photographer. That was fun.
No, it wasn't fun.
It was entertaining for us and totally horrible for you, but
yeah,
it was funny to watch.
But yeah, it really is important, and I think there was opportunity even for some of the employees. I heard carping about certain things, or which is good. You want them to be able to blow off some steam. You want to hear some of that feedback, and if there's anything that we can do to change.
Yeah, and I like the kind of casual vibe that we create, where people can feel open, and it just feels good. And we're all doing this separately in our own little bubbles. We communicate on Slack, but we don't all get together. So it's like kind of building that culture and keeping the camaraderie and sharing stories.
And I met
it's all
Jade
good.
face to face.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah. Who's been working with us for a few months now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, and so I think, definitely something that, we need to keep doing. And now we have a perfect place to do it every single time.
Yeah. And I feel like the crew appreciates it. They get into it. They get, dinner and drinks and get to see everyone. And I think it's good for them too.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. No, we could have the end of year party here too.
Exactly.
I mean, this is great. We have a space now.
Yeah. Laura's like, we could do it at our house. I'm like,
No. Why would we
not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh man. And the thing about having that party is that we had to take a bunch of action to have that party. And so I think that means action. It's time for action items. And Mark, you know this. Chelsea knows this. Elena doesn't know this, but our action items this week, as always, are sponsored by Pixel CRM, the only CRM that is designed by a real estate media professional for real estate media professionals. It is a fantastic way. You can get all your database. You can get everything in there. There's so many things that Pixel CRM can do. We've been using it. It's been super, super, super helpful. And if you want to get a free month of service, you can go to pixelcrm.com/upmarket and you'll get a 30-day no risk trial. And Pixel CRM, that is pixelcrm.com/upmarket.
I'll go first.
Oh, action items.
Okay, all right, great.
Get in there.
One fresh on my mind. So with all this talk about headshots, I figured that you should take a look at yours. And if you have an outdated headshot, get a new one. Put it on your website. Put it on social media. Merging the two things that we were talking about with what I learned in Kelsey's Zoom is to put a post that lives on your feed with a little bio about yourself. So that's a good opportunity to get a new headshot done, pin it as your first or second or third post, and just have a little bio, a little introduction to let everyone know who you are, what you do, and keep it updated so people know what you look like. Because especially from where I sit in the office, a lot of realtors that I meet face to face don't look anything like I expect them to look like, because I'm looking at headshots from 5 years ago.
Yeah,
so,
and they're all over retouched, and you're like, "Oh, you really look like that." And I was like, okay.
It's important to be current.
I like it.
Awesome. You freaking sniped my, you sniped my exact action item. First time.
I like how we never rehearse this. It is just whatever comes out.
We got to start in production meetings.
I like the on the fly. That's good.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, someone else go, because I don't.
Elena, let's hear what you got.
I have an idea. So as a realtor, we have to think about what we're grateful for. Let's write it down. Gratitudes and affirmations. So I think as a media company, having a staff party, getting together, maybe like telling your staff that you're grateful for them, and like doing a small little gesture. That is an action item.
Gratitude, yeah.
Yes.
I like it.
Expressing gratitude to your staff and people around you.
Percolating on one, or are you good?
Well, that kind of sniped my other idea.
Oh, cheers. All right, well, I'm going to go while you continue to percolate. I'm going to build on Chelsea's, because this is an action item for Chelsea and I to work on now that we just have new headshots that we're going to be getting very soon. Is that we need to use them on our Instagram to like meet the team that we've always been trying to do, like actually introduce our team members to our clients, like in a more kind of official way, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it's good now that our headshots look consistent. It's a good time to do that.
Yeah.
I like
so
that.
It can be meet the team Monday or, it doesn't even have to be that formal. It's just like once a week, we can just roll out a new team member and put it out in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of one for you.
No, you don't have to. No, you don't have to. Because I thought of one. And it's to use your brain. And to use your brain, because it's a thinking one. I want you to think about something. Take the action by thinking about it. Think about adding branding to your list of services. And if you are not comfortable with that, the other thing I want you to think about is think about anyone else in your community who maybe you could collaborate with on this.
Yes.
And so I think for us, like having Elena, here and knowing her and figuring that out, that was the light bulb moment for me of like, we've been wanting to do this, but maybe this is the path.
Yes.
And having that and having Elena with us, like the stress for me, well, I wasn't never going to shoot it, but like the stress is much less now that I know we have someone that is not going to be just like forcing Mark to do it or forcing Nikki or Chelsea to do it. That someone is here who actually wants to do it. We probably won't make as much money as if we were doing it truly in-house, but it's also not necessarily about maximizing the revenue either, at least at this point. So yeah, that's what I just think about. If you want to start offering branding and if you do, but don't want to shoot it yourself, think about a collaborator.
Yeah. Perfect.
Elena, thank you for everything. Thanks for being on the team and thanks for being on the podcast last minute. We had another mystery guest that I teased on Instagram But I just said it was a mystery. So you could have been it, but it was actually someone different. And Elena, you came in, pinch hit, did an awesome job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that other mystery guest is going to come back at a certain other time.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be on this one. But yeah, thank you. And thank you to, of course, all the listeners and to Mark and Chelsea.
Love those
and
listeners.
Myself. And
Thanks, guys.
Thanks everyone. And there we go. Keep on trucking. Upmarket is a production of Upmarket Studios. This episode was produced by Chelsea Froelich and edited by Bethany Diedrich. Thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you listen to the next one too. In the meantime, our wish for you is to not have to shoot any Friday night Twilight shoots. Thank you for everything.